you're stranded on a desert island. You get to take one book, one adult beverage, and one writer of your choosing. That writer can be alive or dead. Doesn't have to be anyone living. I mean, you can assume they're living in this hypothetical world. I think I would take a poet, just because you need someone that can like look at like the mundane things or things you see commonly and make them new in some way. And I've always like Keats is great at that, but I'm thinking Emily Dickinson, just because in the old pictures she also looks like really stern, and that makes me feel at home. Like that's like how I'm used to looking on the other side of the bed and my wife giving me that Emily Dickinson stare. So I think I'd go Dickinson. A beverage would be obvious. I'd have my old fashioned with me. It's simple, to the point, and strong. This is going to be strange for me to say. I think I would take the Bible. For a couple of reasons. One is it's got a billion stories in there and you can kind of read into them forever. There's a lot of like things you can take from it, but also like they say everyone gets religious on their deathbed. And since I'm not handy or very good at survival, like I'm going to be getting like to my deathbed very quickly on this hypothetical island. So I'm going to need to like redeem my soul. So I think I would take the Bible.
I would invite George Harrison, who is a writer, in addition to a musician.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I could figure out a way to fashion some coconuts into a ukulele. And I would take a ukulele songbook.
Oh, very cool.
We could play ukulele. And I would have access to his mystical knowledge in addition to his musical genius. And also get to spend time with a Beatle, which who doesn't want that?
Mm-hmm.
For my beverage of choice, I'm going to go back to my teenage years, and I'm going to say I would like an assortment of hot teas and rum to put in them. when you don't need a toddy sometimes, right?
Right. I love the fashioning the ukulele like it's like a 3-hour tour, like it's like Gilligan's Island, right? The ukulele and George Harrison as the professor. You can make a Marianne. I believe it completely. So.
I'll try. I mean,
out of the coconuts.
Yeah, this is always difficult. I think writer, and I've harped on him before. I think it would have to be Mark Twain. I just think he'd be great company because he's funny. He's got an attitude. He never shuts up. He'd be all right, and he'd keep me real. And stop me going to the bad place or getting too serious. So I think he'd be good. Books, man, that is so hard. You mentioned taking a poet along, and I can think of some poetry collections, especially my major British poets, that might be the thing. But that's such a hard one. I mean, some days I might say King's the Stand, just because it's so damn long and there's so much in it. It's got to be a long book. Lord of the Rings, maybe, because not only is it long, but his English is just so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other thing? Beverage?
Beverage, yep. It
would have to be red wine. It's just about the only thing other than water that I could stand to drink every day and not get tired of.
Right. That's the Italian heritage coming out right there. It's like, of course, it's red wine.
And I'm hoping I can get the coconut juice to ferment too, so I might have some extra options there.
You can't be wrong. I did my research.
Very good.
While I respect that so much, I'm kind of going in the opposite direction. I would probably take Virginia Woolf with me because she's, to me, so enigmatic and was such a powerful person. I feel like I would never tire of just exploring the mystical qualities of life with her endlessly. And then for a drink, probably a Paloma, grapefruit and tequila, so I can pretend like I'm not on a desert island. Like wake up, refreshed, because I would drink it first thing in the morning. And then a poet, kind of similar to what you were saying, William. One of my favorite poets is Hart Crane, because he's just so, his lines are so dense, and you can just go through his poems over and over and over, and every time you do, you're getting something new out of it. So I feel like I could just play with those ideas, and have them tossed around in my brain until
I'm sorry, who was that, Jesse? I missed
Hart Crane, Hart. He was around, I want to say, the beginning of the 20th century. Just this really kind of, again, like enigmatic, mystical poet. But yeah, I'll send you some of his stuff.
Thank you.
Phenomenal. But like his poems are like puzzles. You read them the first time and it's like, wait, what? What happened? Something happened. I got to figure this out. And then you go back, and you go back. More and more gets revealed. I mean, it annoys some people, but I love it. I love the mental game.
Right. Well, I believe it. I mean, on the show you were on, you were like waxing poetic about James Joyce. So you and God. James Joyce and Harp there could just, or Hart could just go to town.
Forgive me, James, for not taking you. That's, he's number 2.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Awesome. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I would also point out, just from my experience in reading other people's work, is that when you create a point of view, when you create a character and you're showing the world through their eyes and you're showing the story through their actions, be consistent. I mean, yes, they're going to be going through an arc, a character arc. They're going to change in some way, but don't give them a Texas twang in chapter 1 and then forget book, right?
You sound like Mark Twain there. That's the kind of thing he would say, only more aggressively.
Maybe in like adjourning, island somewhere, and I could bring over George and we could play music and I could hear some philosophical stylings from Mark Twain.
Very good.